Welcome to The Life of Hair. My name is James Atkinson. Thank you very much for choosing to join into this week's episode. Now, in a previous episode, I cut this lovely lady's hair, Rachel, who you've seen on the channel here before. And in that video, introduced Shona, who we mentioned previously will probably be doing her own channel at some stage. So today, she's going to show off her fantastic colouring skills by bleaching our lovely lady's hair, Rachel, into what you see on the screen now, which is a lot brighter, a lot blonder. So I'm going to hand you over to Shona. She's had a chat with Rachel about her hair, and I think she's going to give you a quick rundown of exactly what she's going to be doing to her hair today. And then I am going to be the cameraman today, so I'll be behind the camera, so you won't see me for the rest of the day. But if you do enjoy this episode, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure that you check out the other 300-400 videos that I've already made here on YouTube. And I'll see you again next Sunday for another episode of The Life of Hair. Like that.
Wish it's adults, isn't it? Yeah. It's not like for kids YouTube.
Right, go on again. It was actually fine. Just do that exactly again. Hi, I'm Shenda's hair. That's not it.
Not be funny. If
No,
like,
but
Mr.
he
like can do it.
He can talk about
Build
anything.
himself up to be an on-camera bloke.
Hi, I'm Shona Does Hair, and today we're going to be bleaching the hair that James previously cut. We're going to be using bleach and 20 bowl. We're going to start on the mid-length and ends first to give it a little bit more of lift, and then we're going to go onto the root after.
Okay, on to Shona's technique. Now, Shona uses her hands when the hair is shorter because the control that she gets with using her hands is much, much higher when the hair is short. Later in the video, you'll see that she switches to a paddle board, and she uses that paddle board to saturate the long lengths of the hair with much more convenience. But with these shorter sections, Shona's making sure she paints at least 1 to 2 centimeters away from the roots, and this is because at the root area the scalp is much hotter than the ends of the hair. It can be up to 20 degrees in difference. It's quite often around 36 degrees of heat emanating from that first centimeter of the scalp, and this means that you can get very, very quick lift at the roots, and the ends then need to catch up. So it's a really good idea to apply your ends first. Now you're going to come to see that this technique is fairly repetitive, so we're going to whiz through this back right hand quadrant. But while we're doing that, I just want to talk to you about the consistency of the product we're using here. Shona likes to use a thicker consistency to ensure the product doesn't dry out. So it's roughly a 1 to 1.5 ratio, maybe close to 2 parts peroxide, sometimes dependent on the texture and the thickness of the hair. This is quite fine hair, and so 1 to 2 would be fine, but it depends on your client and it depends on your application style as well. Try different things and see which works for you. Now, one of my favorite mixing ratios is the 1 to 1.5. So I use 45 grams of peroxide to 30 grams of powder. Shona did exactly the same thing here. Now you'll see she switched now to the paddleboard as the lengths are getting longer. And this is just again for control of saturation and making sure that she gets a really, really precise application. You'll see that she's taking very fine sections using a Pintail Comb to ensure that she gets the saturation through each of the sections. Now, once she's finished applying all of the sections and allow the ends to process just for a few minutes, Shona will go back in and then start to apply the root area. Now, once she's applied the root area, she'll also make sure that she resaturates the ends as she travels through the technique. It's really, really important to remember, guys, that saturation on these kind of techniques is of the utmost importance. And any time you're using bleach, you really, really do need to make sure you are saturating the hair absolutely perfectly. You'll see with the finished result in just a second that Shona makes it look like an iced cake. And that is so very, very important when it comes to these type of techniques, that you get that product onto the hair evenly, consistently, and so that you cannot see any of the hair that you have put bleach onto. Now, some of you may notice that the ends of the hair have got some pre-line in there. We've used a bond builder in this particular instance to protect those ends, but we are also aware that the hair's quite short and it will remain so. So we're not overly concerned about the condition of those ends. Obviously, we don't want to damage them completely. And another really hot tip is to wipe your hands in between those sections so that you can make sure that you keep your sections nice and clean and tidy.
We bleached the hair with 20 volt and we started on the mid-length and ends first, then we did the roots, and then we toned the hair with 10 BN in Goldwell.
Excellent, fantastic, and it's a beautiful result. And I really like the fact that it's like a creamy, buttery blonde rather than these kind of ash grey things that everybody's been going on for years and years and years now. It's getting a bit boring. It's nice to see something a little different. So don't forget to go and check out Shona's video if you're watching this cutting episode. And if you're watching this colouring episode, don't forget to go and see my haircut at some stage. Everything's on the channel, so if you hit the thumbs up button, you will also get to see new videos each and every week from myself and hopefully Shona in the future. Right then guys, have a good one. See you soon.